everyone, and welcome to our April Cub Scout Roundtable. I'm Vinny Close, Assistant Council Commissioner for Roundtable Program and Support for the Great Trail Council, and we're happy that you've joined us tonight. We've got a lot of information to share with you over the next hour, so let's kick things off tonight with a little twist on our usual Scout Oath and Law presentation. Tonight, we're going to combine it with a safety moment, and it's a video from the National Council that is presented by Mackenzie, who at the time this video was made was a Bear Scout with Pack 584 in the Cascade Pacific Council up in the Pacific Northwest. So let's go to that video.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie from Pack 584 Cascade Pacific Council. Do you know how to wash your hands? First, you turn on the water. You want it to be hot. Then you get soap. Make sure you get it in between your fingers and on your wrists. You want to scrub it for about 20 seconds, just like reciting the Scout Oath and Law. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Then you rinse your hands. Then you dry your hands. Keep the paper towel so when you're turning off the sink, you don't get germs back on your hands. Now you have clean hands.
All right, thank you, Mackenzie. Now, if you have some Cubs who would like to lead us in the Pledge, Scout Oath, and Scout Law, let us know in the chat, and we'll contact you after the broadcast to make arrangements. All right, we want to welcome those of you that have joined us online. We're happy that you've joined us. Now, to help us track attendance, share your pack number and your city in the live chat. And if you have any questions during the broadcast, let us know, and we'll get them answered either directly in the chat or live here on air. All right, it's time for our membership moment, and we're going to talk about a resource that we've heard many of you did not know was something that we as a council provide, and that is yard sign advertisements. Now, yard signs are a tried and true method of recruitment, especially for Cub Scouts. Now, they're typically made of plastic or cardboard, about 24 by 18, and they've got like a wire or a plastic frame that enables them to be stuck in the ground. Now, you can make your own sign with artwork that best advertises your unit, or you can use ones designed by us here in Council, which we have. I'll show you one in a couple minutes here, or from the current National Adventure On campaign. Now, yard signs generally have an open area on them so that the sign can be customized by you using a permanent marker with your unit's information. So here's an example of one. This is ones that you can get from our council. You can see that there. It says Join Cub Scouts, and the big white space in the middle there is for you to put in your contact information if you want, whether that's a phone number, a website, an email, whichever you'd like. We also have these more rigid signs. There you can see all that there. So these are the hard plastic signs, but you can see we've customized them with the allaboutscouts.org website, which is our council's recruiting website. It's unique to Great Trail Council. Now, you want to order or pick up yard signs from here in Council a few weeks before your recruiting event. That'll give you time to personalize them as well as deploy them 2 to 6 weeks before your recruiting event for maximum visibility. You don't want to just leave them out there 2 days before your event because you're not going to get as good a response. And as we mentioned, you can personalize your yard signs with the location, date and time, and your pack number if it's an open house, or just your contact info if it is just general recruiting. Come join Cub Scouts, no matter what. Now, if that's too much information for a limited space, you can consider a quick message or a QR code. The QR code can be produced easily and then printed on weatherproof adhesive stock that can go right on the sign. And then you can link that to a web page. If your pack has a Facebook page, a Google form, or just contact information, direct link to an email, you can put that on there as well. And you want to place the signs where people will see them. The front yards of current pack members are great places to start. You can also ask to put your yard signs at schools, libraries, shopping centers, gyms, coffee shops, outdoor outfitters, just to name a few. Remember that people will be more inclined to take a picture for future use rather than writing down the information, so make sure you write that contact information in big, clear lettering so that it shows up when they get home and they look at that photo they took on their phone. If possible, not required, but if possible, set up a trackable QR code to get information about how many people visited your site as a result of those yard signs. Now, if you want something bigger than a yard sign, your unit can print a banner. Now, you can check with us here at Council. I don't know if we have any, but you can certainly check. Or you can get a template. National has a website that is called the BSA Brand Center. They still haven't changed the name over to Scouting America yet, but if you do a Google search for BSA Brand Center, they have all of those templates. They also have flyers that you can get printed up and distributed either for open houses or just to have. You don't have to make up your own signs. Certainly if you want to make up your own poster or flyer, you can, but just like I got these signs, we have lots and lots of signs, posters, flyers that are available to you. All you need to do is ask. Contact your unit commissioner, your district commissioner, or your district executive if you want to order those materials. We have boxes and boxes of them here at the council office. There's an entire room dedicated to nothing but marketing materials. So you don't have to always do it on your own. We're here to help you at the council and district level. Just be sure to give them advance notice so that they have it in time to deliver it to you in time for whatever it is that you're wanting to do. All right, time now for our first of two hot topics for tonight. And it's a video that we have from the National Council regarding building relationships with your local schools. We know it sometimes can be difficult getting your foot in the door in your local schools, so hopefully this can provide some ideas on how to establish that relationship. Presenting the video, it's our old friend Anthony Berger, National Director of Cub Scouting.
I want you to take a moment to think about the adults who are not part of your family that were an influential part of your life as a child. Chances are at least one of those adults you're thinking of was a teacher. I was fortunate to have had several teachers who provided me the skills and support I needed to be the first in my family to go to college. And one of these teachers was Mr. Cecil Lease. He forever changed geometry for me. He was famous for his jokes. Well, his bad jokes. One day he informed us that they named a triangle after him. He drew a triangle with two equal sides and asked us what it was. We answered that it was an isosceles triangle. And he said, "That's correct. This triangle is named after me." Skeptical, the class sat in silence. He had a whole story that led to explaining that the word was actually an acronym, and he wrote it out on the board. And I may have been the only one who laughed out loud. On the board was, "I saw Cecil Lease." Isosceles. From that day forward, I would always remember what an isosceles triangle was. Educators are a foundation to our community and deserve our support and help. Welcome to this month's Roundtable as we talk about building and maintaining relationships with our local schools. Now, there's a good chance that the families in your pack attend the same school. This is your school community. It's where you meet the parents of other kids that are your child's age. And studies show that parents, especially moms, will often build a new circle of friends based on the other parents that they meet in the local school. They want to be friends with the parents of their child's friends. Your pack may serve more than one school, but the same idea holds true. Parents form friendships, connections with the parents of their local school. Many of our successful packs have a long-standing relationship or friendship with their local school. These relationships started the same way. There was a conversation with the parents and leaders in the pack, and they identified the best person to take the lead in forging a friendship with the school. And it's not always the Cubmaster or committee chair. The ideal person is one who already has a positive working relationship with the school. So perhaps you have a parent that is already part of the PTA, or has volunteered to be a class helper, or is a teacher's assistant. The other skills you're looking for is a person who is a strong communicator and a good representative of your pack. Don't overlook parents who may not be a leader in the pack. You will find that the parent who has a child or more than one child in the school will find it easier to build a relationship with that school. This is a great topic for your next parents meeting or pack committee meeting. Once your pack representative has been identified, they should make an appointment with the school principal. This is where, if you have someone who already has a relationship with the school, they'll find it super easy. If your representative is not already known by the principal, then be prepared to take one or more approaches. Just like any organization, you will find a variety of management styles. Some principals will require you schedule a formal appointment, while others will be willing to talk with you at any time. We recommend that you first go to the school in person. And certainly avoid times when principals are at their busiest. This tends to be right before school starts and when students are arriving, during school lunchtime, and right before school lets out. Here's a tip from the experts. Did you know that most principals are still in school even if school is out? Meeting with the principal when school is not in session increases the chances that you will have the principal's undivided attention. When scheduling the appointment, let them know who you are and if you have a child in school. Let them know that you are representing the local Cub Scouting program that serves several of the kids in the school already, and that you would like to meet to discuss how the families in Cub Scouting can help the school. You will not be asking for anything, and that's the key. Now, some schools are large, and the principals may require that you meet with a vice principal or other staff member, and that's perfectly fine. The meeting itself is simple. You want to discover what the greatest challenge your school and educators are facing. You do not want to provide solutions, you do not want to give advice, or make comments on behalf of the pack. This meeting is simply a discovery meeting, and the mission is to identify what the challenges your school has. Now, make sure to take notes. After this meeting, share what you learned with the pack committee, or even better, at a parents' meeting. Then identify one thing that the pack could do to help solve a challenge the school is having. A tip from the experts: don't try to solve all the challenges the school has. Just pick one thing that you know for sure the pack can do, preferably something that the kids in the pack can participate in. It's better that you do one thing really well than to overcommit and end up doing none of it well. Now, once you have a way that your pack has chosen to help, have your representative meet again with the principal and share with them what they can count on the pack to do. The big takeaway is that you want to position your Cub Scout pack as a partner in education with your school. Later, as you build and feel comfortable with the school relationship, you can share how Cub Scouting is beneficial to the school community and all the youth being served by the school. For example, academic performance is often a priority for a school. Asking the school how they measure this will give you great insight. You may be able to set up a study to show if the Cub Scouts in your pack are outperforming their non-scouting peers. Now, national statistics are fine, but not nearly as powerful as a study that shows what is happening in that local school. For some schools, you may learn that student attendance is the highest importance. Once again, you may be able to conduct a quick study to compare attendance rates of Cub Scouts compared to non-Cub Scouts or to the school average. If you can show that in your school that students in Cub Scouting are performing at a higher academic level and or have a higher attendance rate, you have essentially changed the perception the school may have of Cub Scouting. You could effectively be able to connect school performance with Cub Scouting, which gives a good case of why more of the students in the school should be in Cub Scouting. There's another important factor to developing a relationship in your school, and that's building relationships with teachers. Now, often teachers are in need of basic classroom supplies, hand sanitizer, tissues, hand wipes, etc. Learn what these supplies are before they ask, and get them for them. Conduct a supply drive with the pack. If you have a strong relationship with teachers, consider giving teachers a copy of the Cub Scout handbook for the grade that they teach, and ask them what requirements and what adventures would supplement the curriculum that they are already teaching. You may even be able to time it so that the subject they are talking about in school matches the adventures you're doing in the den meeting. This is a perfect example of a true partnership and positioning Cub Scouting as an educational partner. Once again, we want your pack to focus on the things you can do and do well. There are some simple and small things you can do too, like provide donuts and coffee for the teachers in the teacher's lounge. During a teacher workday, perhaps have your Cub Scouts in uniform walk around and just deliver thank you cards. The ideas are limitless. Now, the BSA has a program called Adopt a School, and the information on that can be found on the website below. That brings us to the best part of Roundtable, the sharing of ideas. Take the remainder of your time to share with your fellow leaders ways that you currently do or things that you could do for your school and for teacher relationships. Now, consider these questions. How would you rate your relationship with the school or schools the Cub Scouts in your pack go to? What are things you do as a pack that builds a positive relationship with your schools? All right. Look forward to those discussions, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, thank you, Anthony. A couple quick shout outs. We want to say hi to our packs that are on tonight from Youngstown, Ellett, and Richfield. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're happy that you're online with us. All right. We talked about this program last month, but we wanted to take a minute to remind everyone of this new program that's being offered in Scouting and other youth organizations worldwide. Scouts Read Sacred Texts. It's an initiative from Scouting America's National Religious Relationships Committee, and it's promoted here by the Great Trail Council Religious Relationships Committee. It is a worldwide invitation to Scouts designed to inspire them to set aside some time to read a sacred text from their religion. All youth are encouraged to read on the evening of May 1st, which is the U.S. National Day of Prayer, or any time that week that's convenient. Now, it's suggested that youth, their families, and or their faith leaders decide what specific texts you want to read. It's also suggested that youth read for at least 15 minutes, but that's up to each individual. Now, in 2024, which was the first year for the event, there were over 3,600 youth who participated. So far, with only about a month to go, over 2,100 youth have already committed to read for this year's event. Now, there's a registration link at the bottom of the slide that's on screen right now, and as with any Scouting event, there are, of course, patches and stickers available. And check with your den and or unit leaders, as participation in this program may count towards duty to God requirements for rank and other adventures and achievements. All right, it's time now for our second hot topic, and we're going to cover summertime activities. Specifically, we're going to look at what are some of the other activities that your den and pack can do in the summer beyond attending day and or overnight camps. Back with us again is Anthony Berger to give us this presentation.
One of my favorite cartoons that we would watch as a family was Phineas and Ferb. The premise of the show was two brothers who had these amazing adventures during their summer break. Each day to start the story, Phineas would turn to Ferb and say, "I know what we're going to do today." What would follow is the construction of some fantastic device, an amazing adventure that somehow also stopped an evil doctor's scheme with their help of their secret agent pet platypus. By the end of the show, the construction would get destroyed just before their sister could get them in trouble. All this before dinner. So, in the spirit of Phineas and Ferb, a cartoon based on summer vacation, what are you going to do this summer? That is our topic for this month's Roundtable, summertime activities. Welcome to Roundtable. If this was an episode of Phineas and Ferb, during the summer, we may paint a continent, discover something that doesn't exist, or give a monkey a shower. But unfortunately, we can't really do those things. We know that most Cub Scout packs slow down during the summer. Some even stop meeting completely. This brings us to the first challenge of summertime for Cub Scouting. How often should you meet? Should we meet at all? And what activities would you do? The first thing to keep in mind when planning summer activities is that your Cub Scouts just completed their rank and are now officially the next rank. The issue is that if they start working on their required adventures during the summer, when the fall comes and new Cub Scouts join, those new Cub Scouts will be, behind, making planning den meetings difficult. Doing just one summer activity really helps families connect. A simple summertime pack schedule helps recharge your pack leadership, increases parent involvement, increases the number of families that join, and keep more families in your pack. Our first tip for summertime activities is to forget about working on requirements and advancement. Avoid required adventures and look to do activities that focus on building your pack community. As Cubmaster, our pack would have 3 activities during the summer. It wasn't always one activity a month, but we tried to spread it out. One of these summer activities was our big annual trip. Planning for the annual trip started during the spring. Our local council had a fundraiser in the spring which was selling discount cards. Before we started selling, at a parent meeting, we would identify where we wanted to go for the big annual trip. Now, what kind of trip are we talking about? Well, for us, it was simply just a day trip. So consider what kind of local attractions do you have within 2 or 3 hour drive. You may have a zoo, an aquarium, a national park or monument. You may even have a theme park. Remember, most places you consider will have group discounts, and some even have special scout discounts and or programs. Once the location was decided, someone did the research on the costs. Now, when calculating cost, we would figure how much a youth ticket and one adult ticket would be. We then calculated how many discount cards a Cub Scout would need to sell for the commission to pay for one youth and one adult ticket. This became everyone's goal. If someone didn't make the goal, they could still attend the trip, they just had to pay the difference. We also extended any group discounts to other members of the family, so this truly became a family experience. Now, the annual pack trip became the highlight of our program year, and families enjoyed being able to do it as a family. As part of our discount card sales, our Cub Scouts could also earn their way to day camp or resident camp. This was part of the local council recognition plan. So many of our Cub Scouts earned not only a cool summer trip with the pack, they also earned a week of Cub Scout day camp. Now, this leads me to one of the most obvious summertime activities, and that is Cub Scout day camp. Day camp is traditionally an event that runs during the day. It could be a day-long camp or cover 4 or 5 days. Some areas have twilight camps that, instead of running in the morning to early afternoon, they run from the early afternoon to early evening. Someone at Roundtable will have information about your local day camp opportunities, or contact your local council office or district executive. Another summertime activity your pack should plan is your annual program planning conference. Now, we already covered this subject in a previous roundtable, and as a reminder, there's also the online training module on annual program planning conference found at my.scouting.org. What I want to emphasize about the annual program planning conference is that this too could become a fun pack activity. Holding it at a park, having a cookout, or even hiring some entertainment can turn your program planning conference into an annual program planning party. One last example of a summertime pack activity is called Back to the Pack. This is a great way to kickstart the new program year. The purpose of this event is to bring everyone back from the summer just before school starts and before any new families join. A Back to the Pack event can be as informal or formal as you like. It can be a formal pack meeting or it can be a fun day at the park. The key step is to contact each family in the pack and invite them to the event. For many families, this simple phone call and invitation is all they need to keep them involved. During the event, you, along with other leaders of the pack, can start looking at which parents who are in the pack have the right skill sets to serve as leaders. Remember that returning parents are now much more likely to agree to serve in a leadership position if asked. This leads to a very strategic method that strong packs do during the summer, and that is identifying pack resources. During the summer, the Cubmaster and Pack Committee Chair work together to discuss current pack leadership and what vacancies the pack may have for the upcoming year. These events provide a more casual opportunity to have conversations with parents and get to know them. And in doing so, you understand their skill sets and can ask them to serve in a position that hits on their strengths. A tip from the experts. People are more likely to say yes to people whom they have a relationship with. These summertime activities are one more opportunity for you to build stronger relationships with each family. And in doing so, you're increasing the chances of someone saying yes when you ask them for help or to serve in a leadership position. All right, now it's your turn. For the remainder of the time, use these questions to spark a conversation about summertime activities. What summer activities does your pack do? Which ones are your favorite and why? Do you recruit leaders during the summer? If so, how do you do it? Where are some local attractions that make a great day trip for a pack? All right, look forward to those discussions, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, thank you, Anthony. All right, I want to welcome guests that we have with us here for a program discussion on those summertime activities that we just talked about, as well as some ideas for what to do for the remainder of the school year. With me is Jason Henry. He is the Cubmaster of Pack 25 out in Canfield from the Stiambah District. Jason, welcome. Thanks for making the trip out this side of the council.
Thank you for
Glad
having
to have
me.
you. So let's first talk about your pack. How big is it? What's your makeup there of it?
We have what I would consider an average pack. We're about 30 scouts. We run from Lion through Weeblos now. Our Arrow of Light's all bridged over last month. So, but we average about 20 to 30 at our meetings.
And are your boys and girls, or just boys? Or?
Boys and girls.
Okay.
Mostly boys, but we do have some girls.
Okay, good. All right, so we talked off camera before this, to kind of get some background on what you guys do, but talk about what are some of the activities and things that you guys do during the summer?
So during the summer, we make it a focus to stay active. We do not do regular den meetings. We don't meet on our regular Tuesday nights and things like that, but we do stay active. Right after the school year ends, we do a fishing derby out at the Mill Creek Metro Parks Experimental Farm, which is right in Canfield, very convenient for us. We participate in Flag Day with the American Legion. They do a big flag retirement in Canfield. We're part of that. Canfield has a big 4th of July parade. The pack participates in that. We have a float, and that's a big deal for the whole community, and it lets us get out, be visible in the community, and the kids have fun with it.
That's really important, because there's so many times you hear that when a pack does get out in the community, they hear from people, the residents, who say, I didn't even know there was a pack here. I had no idea you guys existed. Yeah, we've only been here for 50 or 60 years, but yeah, we're still here.
Yes.
That's good to hear.
And we do try to be active. That's one of the reasons we use the experimental farm. There's a bike path, there's trails, people come and go there all the time. And when they see the scouts there fishing, we usually get the comments, oh, nice to see the scouts out, things like that.
And you said you don't really do anything formal. Are the things planned out ahead of time, or is this sometimes just whatever you come up with and say, hey, let's do this next time?
So mostly it's planned out. We do our regular annual planning in June, so we try to make sure that the summer is planned out before that annual meeting so that we can let the kids know before school's out what the activities are going to be coming up. But we often throw in a random thing. We go up to the splash pad at Wick Recreation Area, just to have the kids come out and have fun in the water. We do go to a Scrappers game.
I was just about to ask that. They do an overnighter, don't they?
They do. And the pack goes as a unit. We leave it optional for our scouts if they do want to participate in the overnight. But
if you've never camped in center field at a professional baseball park, you need to do it at least once. You're not going to sleep. You won't get any sleep, but it's just a neat thing to do.
Yes. So we try to make sure that we do activities every month in the summer. It used to be for the Summertime Activity Award, you had to participate in something in June, July, and August.
Right.
So we make sure we're active through all of those months. And then we culminate at the end of the year with the Canfield Fair. And they have a scouting area there, and we've participated in the past with helping out manning the scout area.
Yep.
As people come through, the scouts are there to help and promote the program to themselves.
Yeah. Talk about, I learned before, you guys do go to day camp. You go to the one at Stambaugh?
We do go to the one at Stambaugh, and we do encourage our scouts to do resident camp also.
Okay.
We're working on growing that as a culture for the pack. We used to have most of the pack go, and then through COVID, shrunk down quite a bit, and we're working on growing that back to more and more of our scouts participating in the resident camp.
Yeah, and this year is unique, obviously, because this will be the first year that Wolves and Bears will be able to participate. Previously, it was just Weeblos and Arrow of Light, so that hopefully will
I
increase
hope,
the number somewhat.
Yes, I hope, and we're encouraging all the available scouts to go from our unit.
Yeah, and you know, I've talked about it for those of you that have watched this for the last few months. You know, we keep driving home the importance of attending day camp, resident camp, which overnight camp now. Keep saying resident camp, but overnight camp, just because we know the importance of retention and keeping your scouts in the program goes up considerably if your scouts are participating in those summer activities. We only have 24% of our youth going to day camp or overnight camp, so we want to get those numbers up, and this is a way to do that. So get those numbers up. What are there any things that you do to promote it? I know some areas, you know, they'll do placemats during the Blue and Gold banquet, or just promotion during your pack meetings.
We just talk it up, and you know, it doesn't take much. A show of hands of the people who have been that had a great time. You know, you see 2 hands up. Everybody that goes has a great time. It's one of the best activities they do throughout the year, and we just give them a minute to shout out, you know, what their favorite activity was, and it sells itself.
Yep, that's great. Yeah. So we will have on the website, if you go to the camping section, there is an area on there for Cub summertime fun activities, where we will list in the coming weeks and months lots of different ideas for things to do during the summer, whether that's a scout night at a Scrappers baseball game, or at an Akron Rubber Ducks game, or even up north at the Lake County Captains or the Lake Erie Crushers. They all do scout nights. They just haven't published their dates yet. But we'll have a lot of that information there. And as you mentioned before, it's no longer the Summertime Pack Award, but there is the Cubs Summertime Fun Adventure Award that all Cub Scouts can earn, and it can't be any simpler. It's do 3 activities. Doesn't have to be formal, doesn't have to be with the entire pack. You earn it individually, but do 3 activities between May 1st and August 31st, and you've got it. So really easy thing for the scouts to earn by just showing up and doing things. Day camp and overnight camp counts as one of those events, as does the summertime hikes that are going to be held this summer out at Camp Manitowoc during Scouts BSA Summer Camp. We'll talk about that both tonight and at future roundtables. All right, so let's talk next about what to do between now and the end of the school year. And I prefaced it when I was talking to you earlier, and you've got a different approach than I think what some of the other den leaders do, because they had come to me and said to have this conversation because they may have presented their rank awards already for the kids, and now they're scratching their heads trying to figure out, what do I do between now and the end of the school year? But you have a different approach. You wait until the end of the school year to hand out those rank awards. So talk about, what does your Den and Pack program look like basically the next 2 months?
So again, we do an annual planning meeting, and we lay out the program for the year, and our den leaders know going in that they will have the full time from when we start in September until the end of May to get everything done. A lot of our den leaders try to do a lot of the indoor activities through the winter months, because once the weather breaks, we're almost there now, we can get outside. We meet at a church. Our church has an acre backyard, lets us get out, do hiking, do outdoor activities. We're in Canfield. Camp Stambaugh is right in our backyard. We get out to camp and do some of our outdoor activities there. But it lets our den leaders get into the elective adventures, which when you get into some of them, when I present them at when we give out the awards, I'm always fascinated by what some of our den leaders have pulled out of the electives to work with in their dens. So, but yeah, it allows our den leaders to spread out, and there's no pressure to, we have to make sure we get through all of the required adventures by March 1st or whatever, because we know going in that we're going to make it to the end of May to our advancement.
And to be clear, your Arrow of Lights are still doing everything by that February-March timeline that National would like. It's all of the other levels that you're intentionally stretching out to make it last till the end of school, right?
Yes, and as the program changed, it was a big change for our Arrow of Light den leaders as they tried to adjust to it. And really the biggest change for us is they hit the ground running. Usually September we're doing Meet the Pack. The dens are kind of coming up on different things that they can do to get in new people. But our Arrow of Light Scouts, they're right into the adventures. They're getting that Bobcat, they're getting their visits with troops lined up. They're getting through all of it because they know that their timeline doesn't go to June 1st. Their timeline is by the end of February so that they can have their scouts ready to bridge over as is recommended by the Cub program, by Scouting America. Everybody wants those scouts in plenty early, and we encourage that. And we make sure that that happens for them.
And as an assistant scoutmaster for 2 troops, I will say we greatly appreciate that because we want to get as much advance time with the kids before they go with us off to summer camp. So yeah, the earlier we can get them, the better. So yeah, we're appreciative of that when the packs get that done in that February-March time frame. So this is the first year for the new Cub program. How's it been working for you guys?
It's been working pretty well. It's been a big adjustment. Our den leaders have adjusted well to it. They get into the requirements and again start to look at some of the things, the outdoor one that they can work in toward getting outdoors and doing that. Again, some of the new electives have been fun for them to get into what they can work with for the scouts and everything. It's been good.
Good. So I know you had said earlier when we had talked earlier in the week that you're not really doing any active recruiting, but it sounds like you're at least getting new members this spring, more so from a passive recruiting standpoint, I guess. What's your secret sauce? How is this all happening? Because you said you're not really doing open houses or actively, it's just kind of happening.
Yes, so the secret sauce is, boy, I wish I knew. But I guess I would say that the biggest thing that we see from scouts that are joining us now, and I've been doing this for a while, and I've never seen scouts joining a pack in the spring like we're having this year. But I know that our scouts are having fun with the program. They talk it up at school. Their friends, hey, I want to check this out. Our parents, when they're at wherever they're doing soccer, whatever, they see other parents. Occasionally the activities overlap. They show up in uniform. Oh, I didn't know you're in scouting. How does that work? And really, word of mouth has been a big deal for us.
That's good.
And I think it helps that if you are at soccer or something like that, one of the things that we encourage is that you can do more than one thing.
Yes.
Scouting works well in working in tandem with soccer or whatever your church activity is and those types of things. Scouting can be very flexible. We try to make it flexible. If you can't make a meeting, that's fine. Talk to your den leader, make up the work so that you can still, get the adventures, get rank at the end of the year. But
yeah, we're not like a coach that's going to bench you if you don't if you miss a practice or something. We're not like that.
And that can be encouraging for parents where they're seeing that in the sports.
Yeah.
It gives us a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah. I mean, I've even heard it in the discussions about the cost. I mean, not to say that scouting is cheap because we know it can be pricey, but I've heard from some families that when they hear the cost and they're comparing that to what they just did for their travel soccer team or their travel baseball team, they think, really, that's it? I just paid $500 for 3 months for my kid riding the bench on the traveling baseball team, and so I mean, yes, everything is relative, but I've been surprised a few times with some of the feedback that we've gotten from families that when they put it in that context, when they're comparing it to some of the other activities that their kids are in, that they can see the value there.
And getting to spread it out over the whole year, where the sports are always seasonal, and you may spend that money for a fall sport and then a winter sport and the spring sport, whereas Scouts, yes, you've paid whatever your registration fee is, but now you're covered for 12 months. We're not going to come back to you for registration for another year then.
Right. Anything else that you want to talk about? I know you had said you guys don't really have a great relationship with the Canfield schools. Not that it's bad, just that like a lot of school systems, it's difficult getting your foot in the door that first time. So do you have anything that you do, like especially in the fall, is there anything that you're doing to try and sweet talk the principal or have a parent that's chummy with a teacher or something to help in that?
All of that helps. It helps to have parents that are active in the schools. If you have somebody who's in PTA that can put in a good word for the program. Our district executive, Todd's been very instrumental in reaching out to the schools on our behalf and the other units in the area to try to spread the goodwill of the good that we do in the community, and to get us the foot in the door.
Now, you obviously, you do open houses, yes. Are your open houses just for your pack, or do you do it in conjunction with other area packs?
It's been just with our pack.
Okay.
Part of it just depends on timing and when the other pack's doing theirs. It hasn't lined up recently, but yeah, we do an open house on our Scout night and then go from there.
Okay, great. And you said you've got about 30 or so, but you've picked up a few.
We've picked up a few this spring.
This spring, which is great. So how does that? I'm curious. So when somebody's joining now, they've really only got 2 or 3 months before they're going to go up to the next level. What are they typically doing? I mean, are they just learning basically the Bobcat stuff, or I mean, are they trying to accelerate them to get their rank badge in 3 months, or what's the plan?
It really depends on the family. And when they come in, we try to set the expectation right away that you may not be able to complete the rank that the other Scouts in your den are working to complete.
Sure, because they've been working on it for 6 to 9 months or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Scouting is, depending on the rank, when our Lions come in, Lion is not as hard to get caught up with the required adventures. Tiger, so much. When you're in the Baron Weeblo, it can be difficult to get everybody up to the same level. But as long as we set the expectation and they pick in right where they are, whatever the adventure is that the den's working, they start right there. We try to make sure that whatever they're working on, that they can earn those adventures so that when we do the year-end advancement, they might not meet the rank, but they're going to get the adventures that they've been working on with the den for the last few months.
All right. Well, Jason, thank you for coming out. I saw you're a fellow Bob White like myself, so always good to have another Bob White on around here.
Yep.
Again, thanks for coming out. We really appreciate all your insight into this. Do we have any questions that came in on the chat before we step away? No. Okay, so we're good. Okay. Again, thank you for coming out. We appreciate having you here. And hopefully you guys learned a few things. All right, next we want to share the calendar of upcoming events to make sure that you have them on your pack or den calendar to save the date. All right, first up, we have Cub Scout Rangemaster training. We have 2 of those events coming up. One is this Saturday. The next one is May 31st, and they are both from 9 to 5 p.m. At Camp Stambaugh. The next one that is coming up next Saturday, this is a new activity. This is a Cub Scout geocaching workshop. So what happened here was there is an ambassador Girl Scout named Sarah who, for her Gold Award project, created 2 geocaching courses at Camp Manitowoc. And so she is having a geocaching workshop for Cub Scouts next Saturday the 12th. It is from 1 to 3:30 out at Camp Manitowoc. It's free to attend. If you do attend, you're going to learn about things like how do GPS satellites work? How does all of this work with the geocaching? What do you do with a geocache? What is it? How does this all work? And then you're encouraged to bring little tchotchkes to put in the caches as you find them, because you'll actually go out as a group and do part of the geocache courses that are set up at Camp Manitowoc. Now, it is limited to 30 participants. I checked about 2 hours ago, and at the time, there were only 5 slots that remained open. So if you're thinking that you want to go do this, go and sign up soon, because there's only 5 slots left. Also, next weekend is Baloo training out at Camp Stambaugh. It is April 12th and 13th. It is an overnight event, and it is free, part of the adventure fee. Baloo stands for Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation, and it is encouraged that as many cub leaders as you can in your pack, you're encouraged to take the training, because at least one person in your pack that is participating in outdoor activities like campouts needs to be Baloo trained. And it's always good to have more than one on hand, because that way, if the one person that's trained has to leave for whatever reason, you're not screwed and have to cancel the rest of your event because you have somebody else there. On Friday, April 18th, out at Camp Manitowoc's Dining Hall, it is their annual Good Friday Fish Fry from 3 to 6 p.m. in the dining hall. It's $12 a person, and there are dine-in and takeout options available. On April 26th, we have Cub Scout leader-specific training. That is at St. Stephen Lutheran Church in Stowe from 8:30 to 1. And then also starting on April 26th and going most weekends through October 11th, we have our Cub Scout range and target activities events. These are those events, BB guns, archery, and slingshots, or wrist rockets as they're sometimes called. They're going to be held, again, all throughout spring, summer, and fall at Camps Manitowoc, Butler, and Stambaugh. You can go online to the camp calendar and pick weekends that are open. You can do ones that the council is putting on, or if you have people that have taken the range master training and can put on an event yourself, you can put on your own at the camp as part of an activity. Up next are our district Pinewood Derbies. Stambaugh already had theirs last month. The ones for the other 3 districts are coming up in May. Canal District is up first on May 3rd from 8 to 3, and that is at Chippewa Intermediate School in Doylestown. Soaring Eagle is on May 10th from 10 to 6:30 p.m. at Summit Mall in front of the Dillard's South Store. Now, before you freak out about that long time, yes, 10 to 6:30 is a long time, but it is staggered start times based on ranks. So Tigers will be first for an hour-and-a-half block, then Lions will be first, then Tigers, Wolves, Bears, and so on all the way through. So, yeah, it's a long time block, but also they've broken it up into the various ranks. Crooked River is on May 17th from 10 to 3 at Lakeview Elementary School in Stowe. All of those District Pinewood Derbies are free as part of the adventure fee. One thing to remember as well with the District Pinewood Derbies, when you go to register, make sure to read the rules, because the District Pinewood Derby rules may be different than what your pack's rules are. You don't want to get there and find out that, yeah, your car qualified at the pack level, but now it doesn't at the district/council level because you've got a model rocket on the back of your car or something like that. Not that anybody would ever do that here, but you never know. And finally, on June 15th, Canal District is having a fishing derby. It's from 10 to 2 p.m., and it will be at the Little Turtle Pond at Firestone Park in Akron, right down the street from Firestone Country Club, where they have all of the big golf events. And that event is free, and poles and bait are provided if you don't have any of that, or you are more than welcome to bring your own. And as you can see, you can register online at the website that was on screen there below. All right, finally, we have another reminder that registration is open for Cub Scout Day and Overnight Camp. Now, there's 5 days to choose from for day camp and 2 for overnight camp. Now, you can attend any day camp session that works for you, which may not necessarily be the one that your district is hosting. It's okay if you don't do that. If those dates don't work out for you, the one that your district is hosting. you can go to any of the others. And remember, overnight camp registration is done at the pack level. Now, 5 packs have already registered, including 1 pack that's going to be coming all the way from French Creek Council in northwestern PA. So welcome to those guys out in PA for coming to Camp Manitowoc and Camp Butler. All right. To register for that, you can see the address at the bottom of the screen there for the council calendar. Unfortunately, if you were looking for financial assistance, the application deadline just did pass, but we did want to let you know about that. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank everyone for watching.